Another way to display data is something called a time plot. If we have a frequency table like this one given here, we can enter our data into our calculator, and I've put this in list 2 and list 3 on my calculator, and get a scatter plot of it, which another name for that is a time plot, simply because we're moving with time. So it's a scatter plot, but it's specific in that it is using time and what happens in the time. So if you put this in your data in your calculator, then you can see how we'll do this. So what you do is you go to stat plot, and let's go to plot 2 and turn it on. And you want a scatter plot, and we're going to use list 2 and list 3. Now, one thing you need to make sure of is you need to go to your y equals and clear it out so that you don't have anything but the plot 2 turned on, so that you'll be able to see it. And then we need a good window. Now, I entered my data in. I entered this year in as 5, and this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I used 1990 as 0. So my window is going to reflect that. If you use 1995 as your year, then obviously you're going to have to adjust. So the years are along the x-axis. So I went from 0 to, well, actually I started at 5, but I'm going to start my window at 0. And I went all the way up to 17, so I'm going to go up to 20. And I'm going to scale it by 1. Now my Y minimum, if you look at this data, the smallest number here is this 511. So I'm going to start at 500. And my Y maximum, the biggest number we have is this 942. So I'm just going to go up to 1,000. And I'm going to scale it at 100 just so we don't have a whole lot of dots along the line. And then you hit graph, and you have this time plot here. Now, you can connect the dots. So the way to do that is to just go back to the plot, and instead of choosing the scatter plot, you can choose the one next to it where it has the lines connected. And this will give you more of a sense, and hit graph again. And this will give you kind of more of a sense of the flow of what happens. So basically what this is saying is this data is the millions of CDs sold in a year. And you can look at the data and see that it spiked initially. This is kind of around when CDs were first coming out. And then it rose steadily, and then it started to decline, and it made a sharp decline in this time here. And you can look at this, and actually it should be pretty obvious to you why the data would look like this. Hopefully you realize that as this goes down, it's more and more digital media, and so we can see our statistic showing the rise and fall of CDs based on when they were first created, and then when digital media started coming out and we started using things like iTunes and Amazon Music and just downloading all those. The MP3 players were at the beginning, but you can see that from the graph and how it rose and fell. And that's a time plot. It's just a scatter plot based on time, and usually we connect the dots so that we can see the pattern.